and you are blessed. Have a great day and a blessed day. God bless you, each and every one of you. And we think of the sick and the suffering, the shut-ins, as well as the children that are ill. We think about the seniors and the homeless. And this morning, as we are here in the unceded territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit, where I'm located, and the Indigenous Nations of Canada, the homeland of our people. This is their land, and we're on it, and we're in unceded territory, because some have been signed for times, but some are unceded. So I'm in an unceded territory of the Native Indigenous people. So today we're talking about energizing the body with proper diets. And the kids are back to school, and we have to think about the fall coming in. We have to think about the cold weather, the changing of the weather. Colds are apparent, so many things. And we just came out of a quote unquote pandemic, okay? But we leave all pandemics to the Most High, because He knows what it is, He knows what it's about, and He knows what to do about it. So let us just leave Him to do His work while we trust in His unchanging hands. All right. So when we talk about diets, what are we talking about? Is it snacks? Is it large meals, heavy meals? What type of meals? And especially for our children that are going back to school, and grandchildren, you know, the nieces and nephews, the cousins, and the good friends. It is important to know that you have to eat to live, not live to eat. And you have to eat right. And you have to eat healthy. And you have to eat enough and not glutton yourself with food. Because if you have to go to school, you can't overeat. You have to eat the things that's going to give you that energy and spark you up, you know? So prepare the snacks well. Prepare our foods well. You and I who are at home, and those of us who are going to work or whatever we're doing, you have to, you know, your mental capacities have to function effectively, but it depends on what you put inside the body. Too much sugars, they said it's causing dementia. But at the same time, do we do the activities that goes with the sugars that we eat so we can burn it off? No, we don't, because we live in that lazy mode, you know, and we're enjoying it very well because that's what it is. It's a lazy mode, and we tend to feel comfortable, and so we'll sit and we watch the TV, we'll pop the corn. They say the popcorn is not good because of the aluminum things that are in there. Aluminum is one of the things that we have to be careful of. Sucrose is another thing that they put in, and they say it's a sweetener, you know, keeps you thin. And these things are not good for us. It's reactive in the medical sense. So you take it, you feel good while you're having that intake. But guess what? Down the road, what happened to you? You started suffering with this, that, and the other. And you're trying to figure out, why am I suffering? Why do I feel the way that I do? And it's simply because of what we put in our diets. So, you know, do things well, exercise. And you don't have to go running into the gym, because half the people that go to the gym will come back, nothing happens after a few years' time. You know what I mean? So walking, because when you walk, it's the whole body gets that healthy walk. Your metabolism is just function. It's like the motor car when the engine is well, when you give it a tune up and all this, you know, all the nuts and bolts and the oil is exchanged, you know, and the fluids that you need for the winter, you know, and all the other things that we have to do with it. So our body is like an engine. So we have to treat it well, treat it kindly, treat it with love, pamper it sometimes so that, you know, at least when you look back down, you know, history's road and time and space, you say, oh my God, look at me. You know, God has been good to me. He's given me a little more of who I am, and you give thanks for that. So what do we eat? Let's start with foods. You know, some of my favorite things. It's usually junk food. But then I realized that I have to change the way I do things. So I start moving from junk, okay, junk to the food that the Lord has given us that we can plant and eat. The yam and the dashin and the cassava. Someone say, oh, that food too heavy for me. It isn't too heavy. It's what the body needs. It comes from the ground. Who created the earth? Go back there. When you stop watching all these dietitians and ishans and nishans and everybody who have a say in the day and whatever else they do, go back to what you know from a child that grew you up to where you've been, and now we're busy watching the television and seeing what they're saying, and we just running up. Oh, don't forget, this is good for you. Don't forget that is, how many different things we put in our system that have things that shouldn't be in our systems because we're trying this, we're trying that. Drink a lot of this water, life. If you shake it up and you have asthma, it's full of oxygen. See them shooting up? And a child that has asthma and doesn't have a puffer, all they have to do is this. I have a daughter that has, at a short, early time in her life, she ended up having asthma and having to go to hospital. And she was in Canada's high risk. But one day, the good Lord reminded me, said, girl, start with this. So when she started coming down and it started disappearing, the doctors couldn't figure out what it was. It was water. Because no puffer, no duffer. These are all temporary measures. We got to go back to see what God says about the word, what the foods mean. We have been denied a lot of information about the things that we should have. Many of our African ancestors have been, they're planting this, that, and the other for everybody else to eat, but themselves, they get the pittance and the scrums at the fall under the table. But think about what you cook, what was produced, and go and search for it. All the natural things that you need, that will do well for your body. Okay? You don't need sugar. Yeah, sugar is for a certain thing, because sugar is not just naturally like that. It's processed. All these processed foods are not good for us. Sometimes you wonder why your stomach ache and you have a headache, and and then next 2 days you have toothache, earache, all the aches you could find on the planet. We get them. You know why? Because we don't follow what God said. He said the herbs by the river is for healing. Did you read that? I have to give you all some list of things to watch in the Bible, because the Bible gives us there's nothing. And I'm not saying that for myself. I'm not Miss Know-It-All. I don't know it all. I don't even know 1% of what I should know on this earth. Okay? But one of the good things, I had a good grandfather, would say many different things, and he was a minister himself. And he has said to me, the Bible gives us instructions how to live. Read Proverbs. You'll be surprised to know what you find in Proverbs. Read the Psalms. You'll be surprised to know what you can find there. There are books in the Word that teaches us how to behave, how not to behave, okay? When to look in your mirror of life and see the person that you're looking at is either to change or to take away or to add. That's what it is. So when we learn these little skills, we'll be able to live in love and happiness. Don't worry what the government say. The government has a different agenda to you and I. The government is upon God's shoulder and they have to answer to him. So just remember, go to God first and then come down. So remember those kitchen gardens? When we were younger, we would plant a kitchen garden, a pot with, we buy the shadow benny, and we cut off the leaf and the little bottom, the little root. You stick it in some earth, and do you know how many plants you get out of that? You can reap all through the summer and winter, and back to spring again from there. The chives. You can plant garlic. We don't have to live outside. How does the natives live? Have you ever been to see how they live. They've got everything that we do, and yet still they do it all during the year because they've learned to, survive many thousands and thousands of years in the North Country, where they are. And when you go into their long houses or you go into a teepee, it's a very huge home place for them. Huge, I mean, huge, down to the fish that they smoke are hanging in the rafters in the teepee. So we have to learn to live the way, because we who came from warm climate and tropical places, we know very well how we do certain things. In back in the day, like they say, but I would say in the golden age of time, when we were just learning and everything was just pure. But now today everything is tainted, because why? Well, the groceries in Thailand, the groceries in Jamaica, Trinidad, wherever the things are coming from, and everything has to come into the standard of the government, of course, for transportation. But that's the way it is, because we go to school, we study, we become scientists, and suddenly 10 engineers tell you this 10 years ago, and 10 years down the road, 10 more say something else. That's life. Everybody is on a journey of discovery. I'm discovering that this is what I could do and what I can't do, and this is how it happens. I still love my spices from the Caribbean, you know. I can't cook like my mother can, I can't cook like many people can, but well, at least I can cook enough to eat the food that I make, and that's important to me. My children ate and they grew well. So what can I say? If you could knead some flour, make some dumpling or fried dumpling or whatever it is you can make, guess what? You can survive. You can eat a mango and survive. So what about the good things we should be eating? How was our diets going? They say you have this disease, that disease. Have you ever picked up Google or one of these places to see what it says? Have you ever gone into the Bible and see what about herbs? Pick up the word herbs in the Bible and see what you could find today. You don't have to tell me what you find. When you find it, utilize it. Okay? See if the word diet is in the Bible and see what it says about diets. Okay? That's how we have to function in this life. Too much of this and too much of that. It makes Daphne a dull girl. But if I eat right, I'm in the spark of a life. I'm not interested in what people say. I do for me. You do for you. You do you, I do me. It's Leno saying, I picked it up. So guess what? And I like that saying. Let me do me. Because then I'm unique. I'm genuine. I'm not, I'm not false. So do you, learn for you, and get it going, because too many pills. You're going to live on pills that the doctor say, don't eat the yam, it's too good for you. Yeah, it's too good for you. Because the yam is, things that the Lord said that he put in the ground to build us up. We don't want it. This one don't like calabash because it's too green and because they're Canadian or American children or European children. You know what I mean? While in the meantime, those on the continent, what are they eating? What is it? A type of snail. I forgot what it is. They eat some things. But when you look at them, are you as healthy as they are? Think of the long lives they live. So what are we missing out on? Well, it's time for me just to start traveling around and seeing what the world is looking like and work from wherever I am. I think that will do me very well, because it's going to be an informative time of my life. And I'm seriously pondering it, because I was asked a question. So basically, here my thinking, well, I thought about it on my own, but someone came back and cemented what I had in my mind. And so now I am considering many things out there. So let's get our diets together. Stay healthy. Stay healthy. The healthier you are, the happier you are, because nothing is going to fizz you. You know the false things out there, and you know the fake things out there. Just leave them alone. Walk past. You're not shopping at that store. No, don't buy it. It's not good for you. Buy the things that are good for you. You know, if you can make them, that's even better, because at least you make them, they're fresh, and you can consume them, you know, within a space of time that's, good for you and your health benefits. And don't forget, you don't have to go outside to walk. A lot of people, oh, I don't know why you could stay inside all day. I could. My choice. But if I walk around, I make many steps. Have you ever put the clock on your hand and see how many steps you can make back and forth? I can walk up these 3 flights of floors because there's 3 floors in this building. And I can go back to back, duck through one level, go up the next one, come straight down and go to the last level and then come up. So I get all the walking I need. I don't need to walk to see anything on the street, no dog to bite me, no man to grab me. You understand? No nonsense. I don't have to waste too much time. If I feel like walking, I will walk. And when I walk, I take a good long walk and enjoy myself. So, you see, right there in that house, right there in that apartment, you can go around your furniture over and over and over again. You start from the last place, and next time you start from the first place, and you'll have a different view from a different stance. So enjoy life. Life is not difficult. It's not hard to live. It's just that we have to manage the things that God has given us. And He said it in the Bible. He says, manage. We are all managers. Manage your life according to the word of God. Manage your life. If you don't know God, manage it according to how you think you should be managing it. The results you get is what you put in. Okay? It's not you can't blame anybody for how you manage it and what your results are. It's because it's your choice to do so. So what about carrots and lettuce? Do you eat those things? And what about fish? Do you have some of those? What's good for you at this age? I guess everything is. Anything in moderation is good. Some people have a glass of wine after a meal, or half a glass. You don't need so much wine in your system. Too much of one thing is good for nothing, because it has a reactive, action right away. It reacts to your system. And you don't drink alcohol unless you have food to eat. It is not advisable. I always remember my grandmother say she cooked a pot of pillow when family and friends are gathered together, because you kind of just sit fat and drink and not to eat something that will absorb whatever alcohol is drink. And they weren't alcoholic people, they were social drinkers. So we have to know how to do things in moderation as we go along. Anything else? What about the children's school diet? What are you giving them? There's so much junky foods out there. My grandson loved bear paws. Well, now he's older, so I guess I'm not there. His mom's there to deal with him fully, but I would pack his lunch, because every day he'd wake me up. He says, you got to take me to get the bus, and you got to do my lunch for me, and I want this, and I'm putting something. I don't want any cucumbers, and I don't want this, and I don't want that. So how do you diversify the foods for your children? Well, it's the first week of school. Look at what they like, what they bring back. See if they had any or how many, and then you know how much to put the next time. Add something else in place of that, those leftovers that they brought back. We pay attention to people's customs so that, we are able to to help them with their diets and things that they like. You don't want to waste food. There's too many people in the world that are suffering right here in Canada. We have so many hungry people, so many starved people, you know. We have a lot of refugees added. And we don't know what else, what else is taking place. There's so many things. Our food, the food chain is limited. And I will say this because not because I'm from the Caribbean, but what I will say is North America is so close to, we're all North Americans, whether it's down in the Caribbean areas, more tropical areas, or in the North of Canada, but we are all North Americans on this side of the journey, okay? And what governments, large governments don't realize, the G7, the G7, the G20, the G15, I think, or the G20, 21 now, yeah, G21 or yeah, nations, they don't realize is just because the people in the southern part of North America and South America are not who they want to do agriculture, doesn't mean, excuse me, that we don't grow the foods. Whose loss is it? Whose deprivation is it? They're the ones that are deprived. And I'm praying today as I'm talking to you guys, governments in the Caribbean and in South America, you need to send out your people to do business with the North so that you could think of the places that need food and send out your diplomats out there to do their work. Why are you holding them back, sitting now, running around the same chain over and over? I have food, they have food, you have food. Go to the people that don't have food. They need rice. We get wheat from Russia. Some places in Saskatchewan and Canada supplies wheat as well. How come you get into political office and you don't know what you have to do? I don't understand. You guys, everybody has a mandate, and I think get behind your representative, that are in parliaments, whether it's the provincial, the federal, or the municipal governments. Get behind them and say, hey, we have food shortages, yes, but who are you utilizing? Services are short. Why? Are my people being utilized globally? And this is where governments make mistakes. Are you afraid to come and talk to them? I don't see any things on them that it doesn't matter if you frown, that's your problem. I don't put wrinkles in my face unnecessarily. It came with age. Okay, thank you, Father. Yeah, it comes with age. So be astute and show that you really wanted to sit in that seat in Parliament so that you can do the work you have to. Just don't gab, and the gab is not producing anything fruitful. If you have to do things locally and you're that local minister, fine, it's right in your backyard. But those who have to do foreign duty, get with the program and do your job. Oh, that calls for a drink of water. So I'm not sure. I don't think Minister Merle is in today. I'm not sure because she did not come in because she will show herself up. Yeah. So when we're thinking of diets and foods and stuff like that, think of it on a large scale. I don't think about it I'm not interested in the grocery store. I'm interested in where the food is coming from. Is the place clean? Do they do so and so? Is it, years and years ago, as a young girl, when I was in my teens, I remember I used to get National Geographic magazine. My grandfather sent it, he gave me a subscription. And those magazines, they were as big as the Bible. Now today, if they're this big, we're lucky, okay? I have a few of them and I keep looking at them and say, my goodness, what happened? Times have changed and people have changed, but it was a time that China lived on water and they did everything in the water. It wasn't the China you see today. Okay. It was China where they did everything on wood. And guess what? And I'm telling you the story because remember, we had sardines coming from China from since we were children. I stopped eating sardines because they live on water that they did every single thing in. They bathed in, they didn't have the beautiful place that they have today. Take it from me. Google it. What was China like in the 1940s, 50s, 60s? And you'll see pictures of what it was like. People live on the rickshaw and on the water because it's mostly water. Everything is over water. Okay. So we who have the land, what are we doing? You all need me to move around the world and talk about it for you? Oh dear. That is sad, especially when you have governments of your own everywhere. And that is why comes my next big beef with humanity. Why don't you all fill out your census forms? You want to be included, you want to get this, you want to get that, but you ain't filling out the census form. Fill it out. Oh, they want to know your business. They already know you in the country. You have an ID, you have a social insurance number. Unless, you're here without any ID. So these are some of the things, But where there's a will, there's a way. Anytime you're willed to do something, the good Lord will give you a way to do it. Okay? And don't be afraid to take your chances. Why would you be fearful? If you, for instance, people that come in as visitors and they stay undocumented, if you're so brave to stay, what is your fear of trying to get yourself together? I always ask the question, The only thing will happen to you, they may send you back and tell you, because you have already been here, to go back and reapply. Doesn't mean to say that you're not going to get it. You have to listen to what people are saying and process it as they're speaking slowly. Then go home and process it. So you'll get the gist of what they're trying to tell you. You already know what it's like here. You already have a little bit of experience. You're working on the ground for a long time. Why shouldn't you get your paperwork? All right. So those are some of the things. Don't forget, the census is there for purpose. Because if the money runs short, it's because we have to stretch in places that we didn't know we have to. Like children that are born here, parents who don't have any papers here. Okay? But I would never live underground, under a rock, like they say. Because I always know there's a will. I have breath in my body. I can speak. And therefore, I have a chance of a lifetime, an opportunity. And I want to have that. So don't be afraid of it. Okay. So let's get back to you and your health. As a matter of fact, let me add to that last thought. You're sick. How do you get to hospitals? You understand? How do you get the services that you really need? What if you die? These are all the things we have to look at. So take a good look at yourself and keep me posted. And when I say keep me posted, that means you're going to be doing something for yourself. So we could read it on the news that some undocumented people have gone in to get themselves together and they are qualified. Maybe someone sends you to school, they give you the money to go to school. And you have a profession. So where there's life, there's hope, eh? Where there's life, there is hope. So let's get back to the body. So treat this body well, because you know what? You need it for a long time. 3 score and 10 is not a short time, it's quite a long time. And if you go beyond that, How blessed are you? Okay? So give thanks to the God that saved you, brought you, and guess what? He shows you the way to go, in which you should go. Today, someone sent me a message, and I said, my answer to that person was, today, governments and systems and human ideologies have brought God's word down to nothing. I don't need God. But yet still, when COVID was here, everybody was bawling, oh God, wonder who he is. Do you know him? Does he know you? Of course he does. He knows you. But do you know him? You call on him when you need him. And you just throw him in the dustbin or in the dumpster. Or you step on him when nothing is happening. He's a convenience to you. Temporary band-aid. What I want to tell you, this body of ours that God has made, so lovely, so healthy, so blessed. We got to give thanks. And we reach the time in time where humanity is so overeducated and so over everything that you need to know who you are. Are you driven by what they say, what the laws tell you? Is it the laws alone? Well, one of the laws that we must do is pay our taxes. Jesus paid his taxes. But he also talked about the spaces. And now today, many of the spaces that are synagogues and church, they don't want that because, of course, they make people feel guilty. Do you feel guilty? Well, why should you feel guilty? If you don't believe in something, it should not bring guilt to you. Unless you're following the masses. Because, some of us, when we're in company, we want to be able to hang with the company. So in order to do that, we have to give up certain things in life. What are you giving up that you should not be giving up? Like your diet. Instead of healthy foods, we spend our time drinking. Instead of healthy foods, we spend the money doing what we're not supposed to be doing with the money. You understand? And we forfeit the dinner table. We put things on it, but is it the right things on it? Or do we just make do with what we can get at that point in time? Think about it. It's all about health. Your health is your wealth. If you're not healthy, you can't do anything for yourself. You will be fumbling through life. You'll be stumbling through life, and you're going to have a lot of issues. So it's something to think about. Something to really think about. What are you feeding the children? Because you want their bodies to be strong from now. So that when they get older, it can fight the things that may be passing around. A couple of days ago, somebody sent something. Oh, after all these years, now they decided they want to do this. I saw somebody traveling with a, what they said, they buy lots of coffee. Guess what? We're still under the banner of Christ. Whether you know him, like him, believe in him or not. So he is allowing what he wants to allow for purpose. It's up to you and I to find out what's the purpose for allowing these things to happen. How did you treat him? Did you? Are you second guessing? Maybe? Not sure at all? It's time to wake up. It's time to look in your mirror. Look at you, the little seed that God planted in the mother's womb. The seed that he gave fathers to plant in mothers' wombs, wives, not baby mamas. Or there are a lot of them out there. But unfortunately, we've lost so many of our morals that even when we teach our children the right thing, because of the mass things that are happening, they choose according to what is the norm, quote unquote, norm. Okay? So you can't go from that. You just leave them, like I say. I leave them in God's hand. And when I leave them, I tell them why I leave them with him, and he will do accordingly. So if you think you have issues, don't keep it to yourself. Get somebody to pray for you and send it up and leave it there. And you just give God thanks for the results that are going to come back. Because they do come back. So be part of that if you want to. Everything is a choice. We have choices. What the Bible says, I choose. Choose today who you will serve. Choose. See, when you choose Christ, when he called you, right? He called you. Say, come, Daphne, come. I need you. And you go. I need to ask to you and say, Father, forgive me for committing. And we have to ask forgiveness every day. Every day I have to ask for it because there are things in this world that, and the Lord hear my thought, not you. That really irked me, but God heard my first thought. That I have to say, Father, give me strength. And then I turn around and I say, Satan, get thee behind me. Just get thee behind me. Because we as human beings, we allow the devil to use us. And then we come now to God's children out there, or to somebody out there to fandangle with them. If they spit in your face, you look for it. If they slap you, you look for it. But then you're gonna call the police because you want I know somebody. Yeah. But in your hearts of hearts, didn't you realize that you deserved it? You see, when you're a child of God, you just look at them and you say, Abba, thy will be done. Let him deal with it. Because what he gives you, I wouldn't give you. He gives you a little more than I would. He gives you so that you don't forget. And that's what I like with him. When he chastises you, he chastises you. Things that you can't even get over or get under. You ask yourself, God, when do I recover? See, when you sin in this earth as a human being, you don't sin against me. You don't sin against the neighbor, the husband, the wife, the children. You sin against God. And unfortunately, man cannot kill him because he already went down and came back up. So he's in control. But when you get to him, when he called you, he chose you, he called you, and then he clean you up the mess that you are. And then what he does, he keep you. Because his word remains in your heart. You know love, you know compassion, you know forgiveness. You're not the same person. You don't do the old things. You drop those old things in the pit and you forget about them. And sometimes somebody's talking, oh, there was a time I would have done that. Yes. But that time is past. And I do those things no more. That's where we got to reach in life. And when you start reaching, then you realize you're in the right lane. You have all your tolls to pay. And you got your passport, goes sailing through. That's what you need in this life. So feed yourself, your diet for life, your diet for the soul, a diet for the body, a diet for the mind. What are you reading? What are your children reading? What are your children reading? What are your grandchildren? What are they doing? What kind of books they read? What kind of knowledge they got inside of them? Nobody says you can't read comic books because I used to love Blondie and Dagwood. What's the name of that detective? He was a detective anyway. I liked that detective story. There's a few of them I liked. You know, I had my share. I give God thanks I could still remember some of them. This is wonderful. What do you think about your childhood, you know? Yeah. And you can go back there and realize, you know, God, I thank you for the time that, you know, that you gave me, the experiences that I've had. I'm so grateful and so blessed. Sometimes you can go back. So what's your diet for healthy living? Other than food? What's in this mind of yours? What goes into these ears? What comes out of this mouth? Those are diets. You know, what is the eyes looking at? Are you keeping your body healthy? What type of diet do you have? What type of diets do you function with? You answer those questions. Next time I have an opportunity, we'll answer them. Some of the things that we do with our eye gates, ear gates, mouth gates, our hands, and those 2 feet of ours. Interesting, eh? And we get well dressed to do the things, some of these things. We dress up nicely. We dress to impress. And we go there and do some things that will make the curl in your head curl even tighter. And it will make straight lines crooked. Even the earth might give up what's inside of it sometimes with us. What are your diet? Do you have vitamin C? Well, for those of us on this side of the world, it's fall and we need to get our vitamin C going. And make sure you have a lot of berries. Raspberry, blueberry, gooseberry. It's important. So think about it. Think about it. Let me warn you, I have someone coming in here today. We have a person coming in to do a check. And I will get a knock on the door. I already pre-instructed as to if the person comes, just to knock on the door. And at that point in time, they would be able to come in. Yeah. So our diets are important. Have healthy diets, real healthy diets. Healthy diets for the mind, for the body. Okay? Healthy diets for the mind. Feed your spirit well. Feed the children's minds and the grandchildren's mind with the good food in all areas so that they will fulfill their purpose on this earth. Because the more days that come along, I realize the more we need to talk about us as human beings and the road that we're going along, the pathways at this dispensation right now. Things are happening, things are just going haywire, crazy everywhere. You and I don't have to take the whole world on, but we have to pray one for another. If you don't pray, have good thoughts for one another. God understands every single situation that we're in, right? So give thanks for what you receive, and He will bless it. So the next time around, or when that time comes that He wants to add to what you have, He will give you your increase. When you receive from God, your salary, He was the one who opened opportunities for you to get your job. Don't mumble, don't grumble. What you have to do is give thanks for what you got, so He can bless it, increase it, probably give you a development opportunity to do something more on the job. Are you ready for that? Well, you should be. If you do things right, you will have a very successful life. There won't be much complaining. You see, people complain, but what's the point of complaining? What are you complaining about? Some people you know what they do? Some people have jobs where they're in charge, and they want you to know that they're in charge. It's okay. We already know that you are in charge. So what else do you want me to know? My eye gates tell me. Conversations, in the surroundings will already tell me these things. You don't have to single yourself out. You will be singled out without anybody else seeing who you are. Okay? So live healthily and treat people the way you want to be treated. Okay? It is important. That is so important. Treat them the way you want to be treated. Because, the onus doesn't fall on my backs, it falls on yours. Because life is a circle, Circle. Round and round. Life is a circle. I want to say. This circle here is not going to go anywhere else but round. See, it goes round and round and round. So when life is a circle, it's coming around. You don't know when, but be on the alert, because if you do good, it will come back to you. If you don't do so good, you don't do very good, that too will come back. And if you do wrong, that too will come back. There's nothing on this earth that is hid, and there's nothing that we do that we do not have to pay for at some point in time, or answer for, would be the better word to use, that we answer for. And it may not be just saying, oh, well, why did you do that? No, It is something that will remind you that I did this back so, and now it's coming back to me. Because life is a cycle. It's full of cycles, and it's like a circle, just like the earth. Goes around, see the clock? Midnight to midnight. Okay? Morning by morning. Every day at 4 o'clock, it's what time in the afternoon? Going towards evening. When 6 o'clock comes, the evening starts. Right? By 9 o'clock, it's nighttime and bedtime and all these things. Some of us have to go early because we have to get up earlier, and so it goes. So life is a circle, it's a cycle, and we need to be healthy. Be healthy. Your diets for living is important. Write down a diet for living and see how many areas that you've covered so far and you're really doing well in. And that's going to teach you how to live the next years of your life. Get your life diets from the food intake, the sleep that you take, right to your waking of your morning, how you greet people, how you behave around people, and how you behave with people. Because, sometimes people don't realize it. Things that you say will affect people. But guess what? It's also going to affect you too. Because life is a cycle. And for you, it's when just the same way as when they didn't expect, it's going to be the same way for you when you don't expect it. That's why I say, over the many, many years that I know myself, I have many, many acquaintances and friends. I have few. Because, like we change our clothes, sometimes that's the way many of us are. Every day we change. Nothing remains the same because we get the what do we get? We get older every single day. And for those we hold dear, they would know because we hold them dear. Because when you hold somebody there, you can't change your thoughts with them. You understand? That's how life is. So be good, be kind, be gracious, be mindful, be loving, and be strong. And most of all, in order to accomplish all of these feats, be healthy. Be healthy. Watch the diet that you eat, that you consume for the body, and watch the diets of your life. It is the beauty of your life. Brings beauty back to you in many ways that you don't think, but it is part of life. So be healthy and be strong. And for those who are celebrating birthdays today, happy birthday to you. To you and you and you and you. And don't forget, Gem FM, Genesis Magazine is having their award night, and they're also giving away a ticket at different times. So you need to call in, but I would imagine that they would put it on with the program or at some point in that, but I know I've seen it on with Brother John as well, the Calise family. And hope you participate. And if you don't want to come, be a donor. And then you have something on your income tax. Come back as a donor. If you don't want to come, you can support, and that is acceptable as well. So to each and every one of you out there, know the programs passed earlier on and going forward. Have a great day. Enjoy your program. Minister Merle, wherever you are, may God shed his light over you and keep you safe from harm and danger. And for all the children that have been lost, and the seniors, the young people that go missing every single day. Oh my gosh. I pray God that his divine hand be over each and every one of you. I know there's a young girl, she's only 13. She has been missing since August. And I wish you'd find your way home, dear. Family are looking for you. We get angry. we get upset, but there's no need for you to leave your home. So find your way back home. It's where love is and where correction is as well. Okay. So have a great day, everyone. Blessings. Bye. Until, when is it? Friday.